Hey, good morning. My name is Father Rayappa. I'm talking about Federation of Asian Bishops Conference, that is FABC, the Ecology and the Interreligious Dialogue. So, Asian Bishops Conference have done a beautiful job of creating, uh, they call it dialogue decalogue from Asia Bishops conference for engaging with different religious dialogue. So, Decalogue, is like a 10 commandments. So, there are 10 commandments Asian bishops' conferences has identified. So, I'm going to read all those 10 commandments. It is called Dialogue Decalogue. Number one, to facilitate interreligious dialogue, know well the contents of Asia, especially religious text and context. That is very important. Most of us, we don't know what Shintoism, what Buddhism, what Jainism. In Europe, like cardinals and popes and archbishops and bishops, they don't know nothing about Eastern religion. So how can they talk about interreligious dialogue? So I think the first commandment is to educate all the religious leaders. They should be educated in every religious theology. Not only you are expert in Christianity, a Christian pope should be expert in Buddhism, Jainism, Hinduism, Shintoism, Confucianism. So this is the pontiffs. We call them leaders. So they should be first educated. All the religious top leaders should be educated. And so far, nothing is happening. They don't learn about other religious beliefs. So, in that way, how could you talk about a dialogue? You can never do that. So, the commandment, the dialogue decalogue, number one, I think among all the 10, this is the best. That one, if every pontiff follows on this planet, they can come conscientized. Probably they will get awakening. First of all, religious leaders, they should join among themselves and come to an agreement instead of dividing people. So those, let's say 200 religions. So why can't 200 religious pontiffs come and agree on something? They don't agree on anything. Agree on something. So what you agreed, talk to people and be poor laity and poor followers. And we are the people, those who are abused. So I think, first of all, in the top level, you should be able to find some kind of solutions among yourselves and some kind of agreement among yourselves. But it's not happening. The interreligious dialogue always for people, the interreligious dialogue should be only on the top level first, from top down. So first of all, they should be educated, not at the bottom level. The bottom level is only whatever they say we listen, but there is no change is coming from the bottom up. Top down should come. So that is what Decalogue is all about. Number two, appreciate the FABC, Federation of Asian Bishops Conference, vision of integral holistic evangelization. The third is acknowledge that interreligious dialogue is a key dimension of holistic integral evangelization. Number four, discover God's saving design that is at work in the Asian reality. Number five, understand the Asian church's commitment to missionary evangelization. Number six, adopt positive attitudes that foster dialogue in practice. Number seven, appreciate the specific FABC fostered attitudes towards Asia's venerable religions. Number eight, develop a genuine spirituality of dialogue. Number nine, believe that dialogue serves the growth of a new humanity and the kingdom. The last 10 concretize their clear commitment to dialogue by establishing ministries and services within the local church that focus in this priority. That is the dialogue decalogue. Church in Asia has been employing already three major approaches in ecology and interreligious dialogue. These approaches are not mutually exclusive, and most Asian theologians subscribe to more than one of these trends. The three approaches are: number one, it is the dialogue with religions again. So, the spiritual and contemplative approach in the field of ecology and inter-religious dialogue. So, spiritual and contemplative approach, that is dialogue with religions actually. The second is dialogue with cultures, the philosophical and theological approach, that is the second one. There are different kind of philosophies, theologies, different kind of religions. So dialogue with cultures, okay, that is philosophical and theological approach. The third last one is the socio-political approach, that is dialogue with the poor. That is the three main goals of Federation of Asian Bishops' Conference: dialogue with religions, dialogue with cultures, dialogue with the poor of Asia. So these three approaches of what is that? Asia theology will approach. So this is coincides with these three: the spiritual contemplative approach, the philosophical theological approach, socio-political approach. They are parallel. So what is the first one? The spiritual contemplative approach. So it is interreligious dialogue with religions again. It tries to develop a theology that touches the contemplative and spiritual heart of Asia. Belgian mystic Father Bede Griffith feels that the church did not touch the soul of Asia. So the mystic Bede Griffith writes as follows: the Asian church has inherited a tradition of ritual and doctrine which was developed in Western Europe and has little or no contact with the cultural tradition of Asia. This has meant that the Asian church has become incapable either of awakening any mystical experience or of working any social transformation. The ashram movement in Asia has contributed much to the development of spiritual contemplative theology. Recently, bishops of Japan have publicly responded to a Vatican survey of global Catholics' views on family issues, stating bluntly that church teachings are not known in their country, and the Vatican's Europe-centric view hampers efforts at evangelization. That is a statement from Japan Bishops' Conference, February 19, 2014. We need to do more of contextualization in this approach. There is a need to include ecological mysticism, asceticism, creation-centered spiritual contemplative thinking. We need to awaken and see the whole of creation as the revelation of God, focusing our attention on earth systems such as soil, water, air, and life. Pope Benedict XVI sees the need in such kind of awakening. That is Caritas in Veritate, chapter 4, verse 51. The church has a responsibility towards creation, and she must assert this responsibility in the public sphere. In so doing, she must defend earth, water, and air as gifts of creation that belong to everyone. The second, the philosophical and theological approach, it is parallel to the FABC's interreligious dialogue with cultures. It aims at articulating a theology that resonates with the philosophical and religious insights of Asia. Some examine that which is heard, that is revelation, and that which is remembered, tradition. Literature of Asia to gauge their values for developing an Asian theology. Others look at the Asian philosophical systems and schools of thought to find ways of incarnating the good news using categories drawn from this tradition. Still others examine the various paths elaborated by Asian for attaining liberation or salvation to see how the Christian way can be expressed in analogous terms. Improvements could be made in eco-theology by drawing ageless insights from Asian religions. We need to create a new environmental ethics, deep ecology that is Asian. 75% of Asians are agrarian, yet we have not yet developed agrarian theology, even though biblical resources are found, especially in Leviticus 25. Religious education based on these developed systems can provide praxis at grassroots level. In the World Peace Day message 2014, Pope Francis writes as follows: nature is a word, is at our disposition, and we are called to exercise a responsible stewardship over it. Yet so often we are driven by greed and by the arrogance of dominion, possession, manipulation, and exploitation. We do not preserve nature, nor do we respect it, or consider it as a gracious gift which we must care for and set at the service of our brothers and sisters, including future generations. That is that article which was titled Fraternity, the Foundation and Pathway to Peace. The third approach, the socio-political approach, which is parallel to the FABC's interreligious dialogue with the poor of Asia. It takes the concrete social, economic, political, and cultural context of Asia as the matrix for developing a theology. It sees Christianity as a socio-religious movement in interplay with history, tradition, culture of Asia. Gospel can become truly good news by challenging, purifying, and transforming tribal theology, feminist theology, eco-theology, etc., are results of this. It argues for the use of scriptures of other religious traditions in Christian worship, and it recommends the need to encourage people to participate in other religious cultural celebrations. It proceeds from the demands of the spirit of the age, and it admits the influence of the Spirit in our daily engagement. Vatican Council II points out that it is the Spirit of God which initiates us in this process. The Gaudium et Spes, article number 44, reads as follows: with the help of the Holy Spirit, it is the task of the whole people of God, particularly of the pastors and theologians, to listen to and distinguish the many voices of our times and to interpret them in the light of the divine word, in order that the revealed truth may be more deeply penetrated, better understood, and more suitably presented. Anyway, when it comes to ecology and interreligious dialogue, there are four ecological models operative in the contemporary thinking. Number one, dominion model ecology. Number two, stewardship model ecology. Number three, creation-centered approach model ecology. The last four, deep ecology model. The first two models are commonly used in monotheistic religions or Western religions, and the latter two models are commonly used in Asian traditions. Any outcome that is the result of an interreligious dialogue depends on the wise use of these ecological models. We need to employ the latter two ecology models in order to make sense in the Asian context that sees creation as a unity, in sharp contrast with the Cartesian dualism found in monotheistic religions. So, what is dominion model ecology? Dominion model ecology is that humans feel they can rightfully exploit natural environment. The emphasis here is that humans are not at all at home with nature. It stresses differences between humans and the rest of nature. While we are not above nature but with the nature, the danger is the arrogant disdain for material world, subjugating and empowering nature and environment, which leads to exploitation. Number two, stewardship model spirituality. Here, humans care for creation, which is intended to serve their needs. The emphasis is that there is a wide gap between humans and the remainder of creation, anthropocentrism, in which the human person is the center of creation. There is a danger of overemphasis on mastery with focus on conquering and controlling nature. Speciesism, no sense of solidarity with other species. Number three, creation centered approach model ecology. Humans are not so much caretakers as fully part of creation. The emphasis is on intrinsic value and sacredness of nature. So all species deserve protection, recognizes interdependence within the web of life. The danger is in the call for sustainable development, leaves many unresolved issues. It is unclear how to balance human needs with solidarity with other species. The last, deep ecology model, it is the radical revisioning of the relationships and boundaries between humans and the rest of creation. The emphasis is on the call for revival of asceticism, human renunciation, and mysticism. Eco-theology views nature as a medium for the mystery of the sacred, which humans must not presume to know fully. The danger is overly romanticized view may make creation into an idol, danger of totally neglecting legitimate human needs. In Asian perspective, all religions invariably employ the Sanskrit word dharma, which means law, truth, way, whole, righteousness, asha in Zoroastrianism. So dharma is translated in different religious contexts in a different word. Asha in Zoroastrianism, dharma in Buddhism, Dao in Taoism, Kami in Shintoism, Tian in Confucianism, kingdom of God or truth in monotheistic religions. Jesus says in John chapter 14:16, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to Father except through me. In other words, I am Dharma. There are so many compelling resources available from the Bible for an effective interreligious dialogue on ecology, and some of them are the following. These are great texts. We can use these texts as the foundation to develop our eco-theology, especially Genesis chapter 1 and 2, Noah chapter 9, Leviticus chapter 25, book of Job, the whole book, Psalm 104, it's brilliant, it's a psalm of creation, and book of Jonah, and especially there are two other texts, John 3:16. God so loved the world. It is not God so loved the humans that he sent his son. Mark the words, not humans. God so loved the world, in other words, cosmos. Humans are included in the world or in the cosmos. So you don't have to explicitly mention humans alone. God, no. Bible is very, God so loved the world. It's a creation. So God came to save everything. So human is a small part of it. And Mark chapter 16:15, this is brilliant. Go and preach the good news to creation. The biblical words never lie. They never say, go and preach the good news to humans. No, creation. That means birds, snakes, trees, soil, including humans, they are the beneficiaries. It is not human alone, as we thought. So I think creation, when you say creation, humans are part of it. So you don't have to mention separately. drawing attention to some of the things that uh, have to be kept in mind in the effort at interreligious dialogue. I want to conclude with a brilliant quote from Archbishop Thomas Menam Parambil. He writes as follows: successful interreligious dialogue should create a sense of security, not tension. It enhances identity, not cause alienation. It creates social harmony, not disaffection. It provides a sense of purpose and direction, not theological deviation and an irresponsible leap into the dark. The more a Christian community engages in interreligious dialogue, the more it becomes open to the universal truth. Thank you. Have a nice day.